All right, 3, 2, 1. What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Here the Spear, presented to you by Knoll Game Day. We are here on this wonderful Thursday evening. We are here to talk a lot of spring camp. We're heading into the second week now. Obviously, March Madness is going to be one of the biggest topics on tonight's episode. We got a few things, some players that we'll go over, some things that we may be hearing, what's going on during camp. But Florida State finished up their fifth practice today of spring. Jameis re-signed with the Saints. We'll have a good discussion there along with some other NFL Knolls. And then we're going to preview Florida State versus UNC Greensboro and make sure Ham's all right. He's over here hurting himself getting out of the bus. We got to fix that. And we got a few questions here and there from some of you guys on Instagram and Discord, and I think maybe YouTube too. So before we jump into anything, let me introduce our co-host, Austin Veazey, our lead basketball writer. Down below me, Dustin Lewis, our lead writer and editor, and Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider with all smiles. He got an air fryer. He's so happy right now. He is a happy man. That's what I'm saying. I hope by the next time we're on here live, you better have something fried or something in your hand, please. It usually takes about 25. Air fryers are like clutch. I love them. So easy, definitely for meal prepping or whatever you're doing during the week. Oh, it's amazing. But before we jump into some of the topics, as always, you guys can listen to this podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. If y'all are on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Throw a subscribe. You can subscribe if you'd like to. But we go live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So appreciate y'all listening. Let's jump into it. Florida State is into their second week of spring practice. Mike Norvell, I just got done listening to a little bit of his press conference. If you guys were in the Discord, y'all know that there was a potential first spring scrimmage happening, and yes, indeed is. It's going to be happening on Saturday. Mike Norvell told all of the media today. Seemed like the offense might have had a big jump today, which is saying something because I think the defense was making some strides and really overpowering the offense to start off spring. But I don't know what you guys think. But first, kind of thoughts on practices so far this in the second week for FSU. Yeah, Dustin. Yeah, switch it up. Usually it's Nate and then Dustin. Dustin, now you go. Who you texting? Yeah, do you want to just go ahead and share that? Florida State's got a new GA. Or stalking. Hold up. Give me a second. Supposedly there's no audio from you guys, which is great. Give me a second. Check. Huh. It's lost all the audio.
It's going good. It's going good.
Oh, no, you're back now. All right. Practically, if you want to say that same thing over again, Dustin, they didn't miss much, but new GA.
Or do I need to say the whole thing?
Yes. Really. I mean, I don't think it's like breaking, not shattering news, but I mean, it could be good news.
It is breaking. I mean,
break the news.
The Earth's not failing or anything, but
break the news one more time.
Like I said, I was doing my weekly follow the follows check. I noticed a lot of the staff followed Trey Bell, a GA from Mississippi State, today, and before the show went live, he confirmed to me that he will be joining Florida State to work with the defensive backs. And yeah, like I said before, there's a guy that played at Vanderbilt and also UConn, so you can tell he's very smart. And he worked with the DBs at Mississippi State, also cross paths with Chris Marv whenever he was up there. And yeah, just brings another good coach to the DB room, which I also said we've been hearing some really good things about this spring so far.
Yeah, so going back to the start of spring practice, and we're heading into second week, it seems like Florida State's offense today, at least during practice, got the win. I know Mungerville's been pressing a lot on it being a physical, demanding kind of practices they've been having. It seems like the O-line and D-line are getting after each other. I mean, you got Jermaine Johnson coming off the edge, flying around, and we've seen it on a few snippets. I think the staff has kind of told the players to stop sharing all of that on social media, but we've seen a few flashes of Jermaine Johnson going around and coming after Mackenzie Milton. We've heard some good things about Jordan Travis making some strides on throwing the ball, which is huge. And another guy, Nate, who you might want to talk about, Brendan Gant, who seems to be defensively has turned like a whole 180. I mean, it seems like he is on a different level right now.
Yeah, I mean, last year, towards the end of the year, he started to play a lot better. So for him, I think things are just coming together. Between the work that he's put in the offseason and coming into this season ready to go, it's just coming together for him on the field, and he's made major strides. When you look at that secondary, the room is full of bodies, and it's full of people who can play. Let's not get it mixed up too much with what we saw last year. Some of it was a lack of pass rush, and we can just talk about that as much as we can talk about that. But for Florida State to have this guy take the next step, I think it'd be very, very, very beneficial for the back end. And yeah, spring's not over yet, but I think he's really solidifying his spot as a one, or at worst the main backup at strong safety.
I agree, and I mean with him going up to another level, it just raises the talent in that defensive backfield. I mean, we've also heard good things about Brandon Moore, Travis Jay, and Sidney Williams, just to name a few guys. So it really seems like through I think five practices now, Florida State's defensive backfield has been one of the more impressive units.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering how
So
that.
I mean, real
now.
quick, you look at Moore. He's done well. We talked about him in the Bat Cave. We talked about McClellan moving or playing some safety. He's done really well there and making a lot of plays. There's some talk about if that's going to be his spot in the defense. You look at Jaron Jones, who's healthy this year, and he's making plays. And we saw early on in the first few snippets of practice that came out, him just his ability to jump on that ball was a lot better than last year. And then Travis Jay, he's making plays every practice. So
Renardo Green also had a pick today, so we'll see where he eventually ends up lining up, because we know he can move, all over that defensive backfield.
Yeah, I'm wondering that DB room, man, it's stacked everywhere, and this is where we're starting to get some signs of maybe guys that are hitting strides, like Nate said. I'm interested to see this safety room, because we've heard some really good things about Jamie Robinson too, right, Nate? From definitely this week alone, Jamie Robinson has really been a guy that we've been hearing has been really implementing himself into this defense and being a potential starter day one.
Yeah, 18, 5, and 10 have been the top three names I've heard on the defense so far. No, I can't. That's not true. Consistently. So that secondary is definitely making strides. And then when you look at you already talked about 11, and let's not forget Derek McClendon, who I talked about him when we were talking about the defensive line preview. He's the guy I'm really watching. So there's a lot of positive momentum, and there's a lot of it's just different this year. So hopefully that can continue and keep carrying over from day to day.
Going into a few of our nuggets that we've gotten this week from practices, it seems like the tight end group has been by far the one that has came fully in. It's the one that has a lot of talent with it. They have the numbers too, but the staff has been very, very, very pleased with how the tight end group has shown up and began spring camp. And seems like, you have a big-time leader there with Cameron McDonald. You have a guy like that to lead you. It shouldn't become any surprise. But supposedly this position group, the staff is really excited for because there's you got veterans, but then you also have some newbies in there that the staff wanted to see put on pads after tour of duty, wanted to see how they were looking because they came in and worked their tail off and workouts, like guys like Jackson West who put on some pounds, and they just were like, hey, we want to see it whenever you put on pads. We're excited for you. This group right now seems to be the one that is impressing in the first 2 weeks of spring ball.
And yeah, I don't know if that necessarily surprises me because obviously, Cam McDonald's been here for a couple years. Preston Daniel and Wyatt Rector were both able to get reps last season. So you got 3 guys who got some good snaps last season, got some experience in the offense. And you've also got the redshirt freshmen like Carter Boatwright, and we'll see what happens with Marcus and Douglas. And then, obviously the wild card in Jackson West, who I'm sure Nate's going to talk about here in a second. But yeah, just to see them standing out early, I don't think it surprises me because, the top 3 guys in that rotation know the offense, and I think you already know that you have a pretty good option in Jordan Wilson once he is fully recovered from that Achilles injury. He'll be ready to go in the fall.
I don't really have much to say on Jackson. The coaches have talked about him a little bit, in the post practice stuff. So
I would say just that we've heard good things about him so
Oh,
far.
I know for sure.
On Tuesday, Logan said he had some really good reps during goal line.
It's coming together for him. And he's going to be someone that plays. He's stealing minutes when it comes fall. I would not be surprised if I'm not going to say like a major contributor, but he's gonna play a lot, and I think he's going to play significant stuff. So, and then, when you look at that position, Cam is your receiver guy. Jordan Wilson's going to be more your blocker, but he can also catch. And you look at Preston Daniel, who we talked a little bit about last week. You have Wyatt Rector who can line up in multiple spots, and then I think Jackson West is your guy who can do all of it. He can be your inline blocker. He can line out wide. He can be a mismatch. So I think that's what's going to really propel him. As long as things continue to keep, moving forward. I'm going to say that a lot today. As long as it keeps moving forward as it has been, get to know Jackson West.
Yeah, I mean, this could really end up being a big development for the offense, moving
Absolutely.
into the season, especially with Mike Norvell's propensity to use so many tight ends, multiple tight end sets, guys that can do different things, having them at the H-back spot. So, if you have 4 or 5 guys that are viable to get snaps, I think he's going to love that.
And as we kind of look at the wide receiver position and how that develops and how that unfolds there, they're gonna need some threats to line up at tight end to kind of open some stuff up. Because the wide receiver room has skill and ability, but there's been a lot of inconsistent performances there in terms of getting open, in terms of catching the ball still. So, like we talked about before we came on, and I agree with Dustin, probably your 2 most talented guys aren't even there yet. When you look at Parchment and Hill, and then you're gonna rely on freshmen. You're gonna rely on McLean. You're gonna rely on Burrell. So you're gonna really need those tight ends to step up and help create some space out wide for those receivers. So I would have loved to see Parchment have a spring. I think that would have been really big for him and for the offense. So, but you take what you can get and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Another guy.
And I want to see him. I want to see Douglas at DN.
Yeah, it seems like
tackle.
I feel like that's the move for him.
He's a major athlete. If you watch him play basketball in high school, he was so explosive for a guy that big. 6'6", 250, just a big guy who can jump, athletic. I would love to see him on at D line.
Yeah, Nate, he's now listed.
If it's tackle, I'm not really sure how if he has that reach to play tackle. But for him lining up as a D end or a 3 technique, I think that'd be really cool to see how that would unfold.
Yeah, I was going to say he's now listed at 289 pounds. Woo. So it seems like tight end is not in his present at the moment. So yeah, that's why I said earlier we're just gonna have to see what happens with him.
I forgot to ask you guys. Did you guys have a good St. Patty's Day yesterday? Anybody drink a beer?
I drink one beer.
Okay, that's good.
That's my first beer in since Christmas.
Oh my! Well, there hasn't been a football season for you to drink yourself away. So
also, I'm an adult and I don't have time to.
Adults can drink. Adults can drink.
Natty Ice.
Adults can drink.
Take a picture of myself on the beach drinking a Bud Light seltzer, whatever.
That was not a Bud Light seltzer. I'll tell you that. It was a High Noon. You gotta get it right. They're really good too. I think you would like them.
No,
we'll have them at the tailgate. We'll have them when we go to Kenny Shaw's.
my balls dropped a long time ago.
Did they?
Yeah. So
did it drop when you got that soup still in your beard? What was that?
What are you talking about? That was ice cream.
Austin, did you have a beer yesterday?
Of course not. You know me.
Glass of chocolate milk?
Lemonade.
Lemonade. You're on a lemonade spiel right now.
Yeah, I know, man.
Dang. No more chocolate milk. Cheating on it.
No, I still got some. Just
how many green shoes you saw yesterday?
Surprisingly, none.
Wow.
People don't care about St. Patrick's Day in Charlotte. I was the only guy wearing green yesterday.
That's messed up. That's BS. Quarterbacks, it seems like Jordan Travis is right now leading this group as in being the most sharp and on it. And this shouldn't be a shocker to anybody. You got a guy transferring in who's learning the plays, still getting chemistry with his wide receivers. What's going on?
I disagree with that. Moving forward.
Nate's disagreeing with. See, now if Los was here, you'd be all in. You'd be all in on it. What disagree that you think it's just hoopla?
No, I think he's been good.
Yeah.
I think that he's still not where he needs to be as a consistent passer, and that's going to ultimately, stunt his role in the offense as a quarterback. Let's just call it what it is. He's standing out because he's got the longest tenure, and he's finally getting coached up. So, but let's just quit the Twitter stuff. Let's just quit talking about it. We know how this is going to unfold. But it's great to see Jordan Travis step up and fight for that spot, especially with the news that broke today about Chubba Purdy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to that real quick. Speaking of quarterbacks, it seems Chubba Purdy still has some work to do on rehab, and this is almost kind of concerning me now. This is something that injury during that scrimmage last year really is playing a toll on him getting back just decently throwing the football, because I know they had cleared him to throw just a few weeks ago, and now it seems like it's something still hindering him, and maybe that's not only injury but also mental state and being focused in and healing, but it's tough. You hate to hear it.
We talked about it in the Batcave some. Next Batcave, we can go in a little bit more detail. I'm not going to go on it here, but it's just disappointing how things have unfolded so far with him. You really want to see him get 100% because he is such a talented quarterback. I'd debate anyone is probably the most naturally gifted quarterback on the roster. That includes Mackenzie Milton. So, it's disappointing how things have unfolded. You really want to see him healthy, because he at this moment right now is the future of the program, and there's some legitimate concern there in terms of his shoulder and some other stuff. So I hope he gets it right, because he is a perfect fit for this offense and what they want to do. So
yeah,
and he's going to have a battle coming in 2022 if things unfold like they look like they're going to unfold. Florida State's bringing two guys who are uber competitive, and they're coming in for minutes. They're coming in to take the spot. So he's got to be ready to go.
I think it's more of a mental thing right now. I mean, obviously what we've heard from Mike is that it's
not really like it's not the mental part of the game. It is not being 100% yet. The rehab hasn't done what it needs to do yet, but also, you in anything in life, you get out of it what you put in. So, if you want to be the best and be top flight or whatever it is, whether you're, a restaurant manager or you're an IT guy or whether you're in interior design, whatever it is, if you want to be the best, you got to put in the work. And that's in anything. And especially in sports, if you don't do that, you're either going to get passed over, recruited over, or you're going to hit your ceiling very early. That's all I'll say.
Thomas Schrader was being evaluated after an injury today at practice. The media saw him go down. So we'll see if there's any updates on that after maybe Saturday's scrimmage, if Mike will be willing to give us some news on him. But whenever you put the pads on, you're more prone in this kind of thing. This is football.
Which sucks. Sorry to interrupt you, Logan.
Nah, good.
That would suck because he's a guy who, was looking at as definitely a too deep guy. So hopefully it's not a significant injury.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, and I mean he started a game last year and he's got really good potential. So I'd hate to see it be something serious that has him out for the rest of the spring.
Let's jump into quarterback, but this time in the NFL. Jameis Winston has re-signed with the Saints for a year, $12 million. Is this now Jameis's team? I know Sean Payton most recently said that it is going to be a competition this offseason whenever they get in the training camp between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. But, Taysom Hill has that gigantic contract, which is just ridiculous, but it can be voided.
Didn't they restructure that?
Yeah, it's not a real.
Yeah, they structure it to where they can get out of it.
It's a voidable contract, but it's just hilarious that that's even like a thing,
That kind of tells me though, if they really thought he was the guy, they wouldn't have done that. Maybe I'm just reading it too. Maybe it's not that simple, but when you look at it, for me, if they really thought he was the guy, I think they would keep that value there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what really their plan is there. I don't know what Sean Payton's love is with Taysom Hill, but I mean, I think Jameis has been in the best shape he's ever been. Didn't throw an interception last year. I mean, what else do you need?
I think that, in my opinion, is
and beat the Super Bowl champions.
It seemed like Drew Brees was. I almost said Drew Weatherford.
Yeah, Drew Weatherford. Dang,
he got playing like Drew Weatherford in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed like Drew Brees was really like leaning towards that. The
it was tough to
interaction
watch.
They were having that last game, and if the reading of the lips was correct, like this is your team now. If all that stuff is correct and all that was true, we'll see. But Jameis gonna have to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he has a lot of preconceived notions about him now, especially with Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl. Now everyone's, pigeonholing him as the reason why they couldn't win.
Yeah, Taysom Hill's contract is 4 years, $140 million, an average of $35 million per season. So it's practically, that's the eye catcher, but it's voidable, and under contract is a mechanism to free up cap space. They've done this with a few players.
I just want to know, like, the salary cap guys, like, how do they figure this stuff out?
I wouldn't want that job. I think it just kind of confuse everybody enough where you're just like, oh, all right, I'm not going to care about it anymore. It's too hard to keep up with.
Number crunching nerds,
It's like the thing that came out with Tom Brady this week. They signed him to like a 4-year deal, but 3 years are voidable or something, so they can push more money off the cap. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But I'm glad there's people that can do that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But that thing, it's confusing for me. But I believe.
How about that TV deal, though? Jesus, man.
Yeah.
$110 billion at the end of it. Woo.
Yeah, now ESPN's getting some. I like the new update, though, with Monday Night Football games can be switched around. You could do that for Sunday Night Football, and you could have a good matchup going on and rearrange some games during the season, or like the second half of the season.
Yeah, I don't like Thursday Night Football going to Amazon Prime.
God, by then we'll all have I don't think that we're gonna have cable. I mean, I feel like we don't even have cable much anymore.
Yeah, I was talking to my boss today because we were talking about how DirecTV is losing the NFL package apparently, which is an arm and a leg for a bar or restaurant to have.
Yeah,
because you pay by seat. So for us it's a several $1,000 investment to show it. So what's that look like moving forward? If it's ESPN Plus or what? But we're talking about how cable, as you know, is dying.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? 5 years from now, everyone's going to have some Fire Stick or something and going to get access to any TV channel or movie channel, whatever. It's just crazy to see how things have unfolded.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's an interesting conversation because we're all gonna have 5, 6, 7 streaming services, and you're gonna end up be paying more than you were with cable. But you're gonna have to get all these different streaming platforms, and I mean you're gonna be paying so much money. But that's a whole different kind of conversation. But I do like that the Monday night games can now be flexed around, so there's some good matchups, because usually the Monday night ones, there was a few last year, and I think the year before that too, they were pretty good, but there's some nights where you're like, all right, you just keep it on in the background.
So no Bengals Jets.
Yeah, Bengals Jets. Ugh, hard pass.
No Steelers Ravens.
Whoa. Okay, now. Okay, I know your ass is sitting there watching it, so don't even start with me. No way. Let's see. Some other NFL Knowles worth noting on. Cam Irving has signed to the Panthers. Ryan Izzo, who was with the Patriots, got traded to the Texans. Have fun there, man. Best of luck.
Joining Terrence Brooks, he just signed there too.
Yep.
Terrence Brooks to the Texans also. Yep. P.J. Williams is staying with Jameis. They're besties, so I know P.J.'s happy to stay there and see Jameis potentially start. He's re-signed for $2.3 million.
Darby got some big money too.
I see that.
Darby?
Yeah, Darby to the Broncos. He's kind of just spending a little bit of time at different places, but making cash. So it's kind of working in his favor. But I thought the Saints might have been moving on from P.J., but they just keep on resigning. He actually got more. He's getting more money than he did in his last contract. I believe this one's $2.3 million. His last one was a year for $2 million, so a little $300,000 on the bonus.
He plays a lot of nickel for them.
Yeah, he's moved around a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, he can line up outside or in the nickel for them.
And it's worked out better for him this last season.
Yeah, I think he's a valuable part for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with Florida State, but two moves that surprised me were, one, as a Bears fan, what are they doing at quarterback? Andy Dalton, really, dude? Like, I don't understand it. But two, like, Patrick Peterson to the Vikings.
Love to see it.
I mean,
yeah,
he's still formidable. Like, he can still play.
He had a couple bad years, but I think they're just asking him to do too much because his athleticism is finally starting to decline.
Mm-hmm.
But literally every other cornerback on our roster is all rookie contracts. We just needed a veteran back there. Just coach those guys up. I think it's a great signing.
I mean, do you see him slide over to safety like Woodson did?
I've seen a little bit of talk about it.
I think Darryl Green did it.
Yeah.
They all do it at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Just because we need a safety.
Yep.
Plus,
it extends your career.
I think his best fit right now is just have him play outside corner and keep Gladney in the slot. I think Gladney's a better slot corner. I don't want him playing outside too much.
The Cardinals, man, they're going all in.
Yeah, they got Rodney Hudson. We didn't even talk about that, but they traded for Rodney Hudson.
Yeah, Rodney Hudson too.
I don't understand the Raiders, man. Hudson
John
Gruden not want to win.
No, Hudson asked for his release.
But still, you look at the Seahawks. They're not letting Russell Wilson go. You got these teams offering 3 first-round picks and stuff like that. Some players you just don't let go. They got him. They got J.J. Watt. See what they can get from AJ Green.
Green, yeah.
They got someone else too. I forget who it was.
Kyler, he starts off the season so bright. I'm like, dang, that kid is good. It's hard to tackle him, and then he kind of has an iffy second half of the season. If he could put together 2 good halves, man, that team has potential. I just really need to get some like Watt's coming in, hopefully to bring some pass rush, but defensively they've got some work to do. Yeah, defensively and they can score, but it's really defensively. Hunter Henry traded, going to or not traded, but traded going to the Patriots. Bill Belichick, I think, is a little ticked at seeing his stepson win that Super Bowl.
They signed 2 tight ends. They got Hunter Henry and they got Jonnu Smith from the Titans too.
But
Both
why
signed about the same contract?
Why re-sign Cam Newton though?
That's what I don't understand.
Unless they plan on making a big move in the draft,
which they might. If you get a guy that you can develop with that 15th pick.
I mean, they always have a lot of pick stockpile to move around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now they're paying 2 of the top 4 tight end salaries in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, the Patriots. They play a lot of 2 tight end sets, anyways.
That's a lot of money to give to 2 tight ends.
No, that's a lot of money as a Bears fan to give to freaking Nick Foles and Andy Dalton.
That franchise.
I don't understand it, man.
I love that franchise.
I'm sure you do.
Except when we play at Soldier Field. Otherwise, great franchise.
Mm-hmm. There was another one. Bud Dupree left, gone from my Steelers, but he joins on the other.
What about Vince? You didn't talk about Vince.
Yeah, Vince Williams released from the Steelers. Obviously, we had him on here last month, but
he'll get picked up.
He will. He's a veteran leader on a defense, and someone will most certainly want to bring them onto the team because went through his whole career, hasn't had any kind of bad news or anything. He just plays football, and that mentality that he has is amazing. So he's going to get paid somewhere, and I would love for him to come to Florida. He was noting on it, and Los was really hoping that he could get closer to the family down here. So I'm trying to see maybe some teams that would like him.
How excited would Carlos be though if he went to Buffalo?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Miami needs linebackers, right?
Yeah,
that could be an option. I would love to go see him play some. But yeah, Bud Dupree goes to the Titans, which on the other side of that, unless Jadeveon Clowney doesn't go anywhere else because he's still unsigned, that's Jadeveon Clowney and Bud Dupree on 2 sides.
Clowney's going somewhere else. He keeps thinking he's worth more than he actually is.
That's how he always is. Also, Xavier Rhodes is a free agent right now, unsigned.
He had a good year last year. He'll get picked up by somebody.
He had a great year. Yeah, he had a great year. Trying to note on any maybe other Knowles.
I think that's another guy who should move to safety too.
Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah. I don't know. Maybe because he's been such a press man corner his whole life. I don't know. I could see it.
So, yeah, free agents and frenzy, man. It's so much fun. I love it. So I'm like, there's some players I don't even know that are unsigned. I'm like, whoa, wait, they had an option to leave. So we'll see what happens. I love free agency. We've got a few questions here we'll run through before we get into Chick-fil-A trivia. One of these is from our Instagram page. This is from _PModge. Asks, would you rather have MJ Morris or AJ Duffy? Which one would you guys rather have at quarterback for the future at Florida State? We had MJ Morris on here last week. Fantastic interview. Nate hooked it up. Loved it. He said he's ready to come compete. He expects there's probably 2 quarterbacks coming in. But which one out of these two, MJ Morris or AJ Duffy, that still have not picked a team?
I'll bite first.
Yeah, you go first.
And I'm not saying this just because he came on the show last week, but I just think MJ Morris would be a better fit, not only due to his play style, but just also, potentially a better culture fit as well. I mean, he's from right down the road, up near Atlanta. Obviously, Duffy's from across the country now at IMG, but I mean, to me, talking to MJ last week, it seems like he's a straight shooter. I mean, he's a guy that's just going to tell you what he wants and, what he needs to be successful. At the same time, it feels like Duffy's recruitment has been a little played out now, especially with him getting all the Arizona State crystal balls and releasing a top 4, now saying schools that aren't in his top 4 will be considered for his commitment. And I don't know. To me, it just feels like at this stage, MJ has the more mature mindset, and I don't know. That's the type of guy I would want at Florida State if I had to pick.
I'm gonna be the opposite because he's a friend of the pod. I'm choosing MJ Morris, and that's my only reason.
Hey, that's a good choice.
It's not a bad reason.
For me, I kind of look at it too. First, being a guy who follows recruiting so closely, we over at Unconquered Talk, we're going to start working on our personal rankings. That last year we rated our the offers that Florida State offered, as well as kids in Georgia and Florida, and we rated them depending on different criteria that we felt carries over to the next level. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. We had Renaria Daleworth, the linebacker that went to North Carolina, as our top overall player. But anyways, for me, looking at quarterback, the kid that's going to Clemson, Cade Klubnik, I think he's the best quarterback in the class. And I had Duffy number 2. So, for me, I look at Duffy. Right now, he can make all the throws. He is what you want with the way offenses are moving. But I do agree with Dustin. I don't like the way his recruitment's unfolded a little bit. I think there's some immaturity there. And then when you look at MJ Morris, I think that, he's more of a project than Duffy is. I think Duffy's closer than a guy who's complete. I think MJ is more of a guy who is a really good high school quarterback who has a lot of tools to be even better in college. So, I think that, overall, I look at them pretty equally in how things will unfold in college. Part of our Unconquered Talk, we rate them now as a high school recruit, and we rate them as what we project them to do in college. So I think that MJ, when he gets into college program, will blossom. Some things like his throwing motion, little things that he's got to work on. But again, he can make all the throws. He's ultra competitive. He's got a head on his shoulders, and those are things you like, especially when you see what Florida State's had at quarterback the last few years. There's been a lot of immaturity. So, in terms of on the field right now, I like Duffy more, just because he's a damn good quarterback. But that's not saying that MJ is not. I think he's a damn good quarterback. And either way it unfolds, Florida State is really lifting that room with either one of those two and Nico Marchiol. But, if you read the tea leaves and Nico talking about knowing there's going to be a second quarterback, he's kind of been talking to that guy. And when we had MJ on, he talked about how he's been talking to Nico. So I think, things are adding up and how that's going to unfold. So I'm not going to sit here and say because a guy has been on the podcast or may be leaning to FSU that he's automatically going to be better. But I do think that in the long run, I think I think MJ would be a really good fit for the program. Either way, you can't go wrong with either quarterback, Duffy or MJ.
And I mean, about 13 days, you're going to know one half
one
of this
way or another.
equation.
Yep.
I mean, if Duffy commits to Arizona State or not FSU, it doesn't guarantee that Morris will end up at Florida State. But he has named Florida State his leader. He is planning to be here next month for the spring game, which we're going to make sure to do an update with him following that. And then he's planning to make a decision in May. So to me, that timeline seems to add up that as long as everything goes well on the visit, he'll likely be in the class.
Well, I'm planning on talking to recruits up there,
Whoa.
So
make sure you're 6 feet apart.
I mean, you're going?
We'll get some updates.
Going now?
We'll get some updates.
And it's going to do some networking. 2 weekends in a row of networking. There's another question here on Instagram I'll throw up to you guys related to Miami. With King suffering an injury late in the season, is this a legit shot at beating Miami year one for Mike? Which is actually year two, but...
Well, year one for him. He wasn't there the first game.
I was about to say, he wasn't there on the sidelines. This is from Sosa_ZP. I know you have some love for Miami, Nate.
Mike Norvell's undefeated against Miami. So
not wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So, I mean,
let's see when that game is.
In November, isn't?
I can't say anything positive about Miami. So, I will continue to say nothing different than what I've been saying about Miami. I do think that, Florida State got hit with a buzzsaw last year. I don't foresee that happening again against that Miami team. I don't care what any practice report says about Van Dyke or whoever is the backup quarterback. De'Aaron King coming off a major knee injury is not going to be the same player he was last year. It's just not going to happen. I don't care what you say. So, yeah, I mean, overall, Miami can kick rocks. Stay tuned. I'm thinking like 75-7 right now.
Oh, man. Yeah, you need to get off the bourbon, Nate. One beer is good enough for you. It's still coming through from last night. But yeah, that was a pretty good...
I mean, Miami's done a good job building their team through the portal. They've done a good job. They brought in Stevenson from Georgia. There's a lot of question marks on who's going to be their pass rushers. See what happens at linebacker. To sit there, and I think any Miami fan with any real sense of reality, and I know they're few and far between, would sit here and say that it's a question mark at quarterback if King has problems coming back, or he's not going to be the same player. They have really good running backs, at wide receiver. We'll see what happens there. They signed the kid from Oklahoma, and they got a couple kids back. They lose Brevin Jordan, and I think they also lost their backup tight end. So, Miami's turned over some of that roster. So each year, as Jimbo Fisher said, each year is a new team. The only teams right now that are really churning a year-to-year same results are Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and maybe Georgia. But everyone else is up and down all around.
This next question is from Marv's Waffle House. Do you think Scotty Barnes should get the start throughout the tournament?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about it on Monday on the roundtable on Tribaholics. If anyone joined on that podcast, Evans since late January is shooting 16% from the floor. He has 14 total turnovers and 14 total assists. That's not going to get it done. FSU's losing too much in their first 4 minutes in each half when Evans is starting. I'm not saying Evans is a bad player. He just can't start in March. March is the time you play your best players. You shorten the rotation. I don't know if Florida State will actually shorten the rotation, but Scotty has to start. You have to come out with your best five.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow this program on basketball. I just watch it as a Florida State fan, but this is it, man. One more loss, you're out. You play your best and you just ride it till you die.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy who's struggling that much, why do you continue to put out in the court?
I mean,
I don't understand.
Great in January. He was phenomenal in January, but since then,
he had a great 3 games.
I mean, even those outside of those 3 games, like he was still playing well.
Kept doing what he's been doing since he got to Florida State.
Ever since after the whole Miami game, it's not been pretty.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add. I mean, you guys pretty much nailed it. Scotty needs to start. Evans needs less minutes. MJ Walker needs to find his consistency again, and Raekwon Gray, I just think he needs to be aggressive all tournament.
Play 8 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said last week, shrink the rotation. I want to see Calhoun play more.
Yep.
Set Evans. That's just my observations, and run that through Barnes. Let him get to the bucket. Kick it out and see what happens.
I wouldn't completely sit Evans because I think he's a solid backup point guard.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he plays 0 minutes, but
yeah, like if you can't play, I don't think you can play him 20 to 24 minutes. I think he's got to be somewhere between 12 and 14.
I think Barnes.
That's even too much. I was gonna say you got to have Scott. You're in the tournament now. You got to have
Barnes
Scotty.
Got to play 30, 35.
Yeah, well, Scotty's got to be up around 30.
This first game, which we'll get into here in a little bit, I think you're going to have to rely on 2 point guard lineups.
Mm-hmm.
I think Evans and Barnes are going to share the floor a little bit more than we're used to, just because UNC Greensboro is so good at turning the ball over.
Yeah, I think you might sacrifice some scoring for ball handling.
Yeah.
So, are we done with football yet?
Is there anything else worth anything coming in?
We got to talk about the big news of the day.
Oh yeah, no, we'll jump to that real quick before we head into Chick-Fil-A Trivia. So it was reported today after a panel meeting with the Anti-Racism Task Force. On Wednesday, there was a vote against keeping Doak S. Campbell's name on the school's football stadium. There was a lot of talk about this during the last offseason. It kind of died down once football season started. But members of the Historical Legacy Subcommittee voted 6-2 to reject a recommendation by Florida State University history professor and subcommittee chair Maxine Jones to keep the name. If y'all don't know, Campbell was the president of Florida State in 1941 to 1957. So it seems like things are heading in the direction of where Doak, we might not be calling it Doak anymore. I think everybody just will always come off the tongue, hey, Doak.
It's got to happen, man. It's got to happen.
It seems like there is going to be a name change.
I mean, unfortunately, there's part of the history of the school. Not to start a major debate, but it's got to happen just for, if anything at worst, just for aesthetics, man. You can't continue to promote a guy who was against segregation and was a racist. And
well, real quick, breaking.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
LaMarcus Joyner just signed with the Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Good for LaMarcus.
Yeah. No, dude, I love LaMarcus, man. He's not on social media. I loved watching him on Hard Knocks with the Raiders.
Plays, man.
Like, he literally is just so feisty and just, wants to play football. There's no way you wouldn't want him on your team. And good for him. He said, this is from Ian Rappaport, he'll have the opportunity to play safety, which is what he wanted. rather than nickel like he did last year in Las Vegas. So kind of going back, he played the majority of that at Florida State, but he gets what he kind of wants here, and it seems like the Jets are going to let him play safety. Good for him.
That's where he excelled with the Rams, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, playing that safety spot. But getting back to, this whole thing, I mean, Doak is Doak. It's got to be something else, though.
And I think it comes at a perfect time because
Yep.
Florida State kind of needs some money right now.
Uh-huh.
Just sell it to the highest bidder. I'm perfectly okay with it.
Yep.
You think Willie will send some money down?
He oughta.
Think he could?
He doesn't deserve a penny from us.
Damn. But
He does.
But he did. I do like the one thing he did, like after the games, going to do the fight song in front of the marching chiefs. That was good. I think that's about it. That's.
I mean, a stop clock's right twice a day.
I'm saying one nice thing. One nice thing. I feel like I've said a lot of mean things towards Willie Taggart, but
He
seems
did
like
a good
cool
job.
guy to hang out with.
He did a good job evaluating some talent. But that's about it.
I'm gonna quote you on that. Yeah, I'm putting that on a graphic. Nate Greer.
You can quote it.
Some talent.
He did a good job evaluating some talent. Couldn't land the quarterback to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was overall just a disorganized, really horrible coach.
What would you guys name the stadium if you're
Pub
able to get
Stadium.
it? Huh?
Pub sub stadium.
Pub sub stadium. I like that one.
Welcome to the pub.
You can't go Publix because people are still want to boycott Publix in Florida for the daughter putting a bunch of money towards that whole Capitol Hill stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what that means then, guys?
What's that mean?
Chick-fil-A Stadium.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A
Nah.
Stadium.
Here for it. Yeah, here for it.
I'm here for it.
Oh, we'd be fully prepared for that.
I mean, if that's the route they go, they got to do it. Something. It's got to be a national because the Florida State's a national brand.
Mhm.
Something that's big in Florida, but it's also national. What does that look like? I have no idea. I'm not much of a marketing guy.
Chick-fil-A.
So
No
it,
stadium.
yeah, no.
Hey, we keep on rolling with the Patreons. We might be able to put our
Hey,
name somewhere
but-
on there.
Do they go basic and do like Mickey Andrews Field at Bobby Bowden Stadium? I'd be
They
cool
might.
with that.
Yeah, they honestly might.
I mean, I'd be totally cool with that.
Oh no, he definitely deserves it. And
Yep.
with the timing
that,
now
Brendan
with Bobby
Gant
Bowden's
just turnover today.
Yep, Gant and Jarian. Once again, Jarian's just seems to be right where the ball is. He did that last camp too, but Jarian's right where
He's
the ball
healthy.
is. Interception and an interception for Brendan Gant today during spring
But
practice.
if that's how they can, give some recognition to Mickey, so be it. I wouldn't mind Bobby Bowden Stadium. I think he deserves that.
I
And
just hope it's not something lame like Rocket Mortgage.
Well, that would be horrible.
that would be a lot of money though. It would be
It-
such a
yeah,
lot of
it'd
money.
be a bag, but at least make it a fun bag.
Are there any
Louisville's
big
is, Pop,
times?
is Louisville's
Yeah.
Papa John. Is there
Yeah,
still
but
Papa John's?
Papa John's is based out of Louisville, so
Yeah.
like at least that makes sense.
I mean, are there any more other big time schools that their stadium is named after a company? I can't really think of any.
I was gonna say Miami, but they don't own that stadium.
Yeah, they don't.
Damn. Free shade. Free
Um,
shade. That's the only one that comes to me. I mean, NFL is NFL, but when you go to
Yeah.
college,
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head.
I'm doing a quick. Google
Minnesota
search.
TCF Bank Stadium.
That's a pro.
No,
No,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, University of Minnesota.
Gophers. Yeah.
Yep.
Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium.
Who's the
Seattle.
biggest bank? Who's the biggest bank in Florida? That's where they should
Probably
go.
Bank of America, right?
Bank of America's biggest one in the.
Yeah, but they're pretty big in Florida. Like
Mm,
the biggest Florida bank would be SunTrust, but I don't see SunTrust doing that.
Yeah, nah.
is it SunTrust?
It's got to be right.
Yeah, right now SunTrust does not have a stadium in college. It's named.
Don't they have a baseball
SunTrust
stadium?
Stadium would be. I like that. It actually has a ring to it. A lot of these don't have a ring that we're saying, but
Yep.
SunTrust Stadium has some, and Sunny. I'd rock with it. But I think though, if you do move it to where it's Bobby Bowden's stadium, I definitely the timing's now because of Bobby Bowden's health, and you would like to have him be there for the recognition and everything. So if they're going to do it, now would be the time. Like we're talking this year, next year kind of situation. So yeah, interesting conversation.
Jeez.
Well,
Why'd you say it like that?
1 year, $4.5 million for Joyner. FSU 2013 DBs keep getting paid.
All right.
I think COVID-19, being safe around here. All right, let's go to Chick-Fil-A Tribute, and then we'll jump into basketball to finish off the episode. Everybody ready for this question? It's a pretty interesting one.
True.
It took Chick-fil-A 11 years to develop which unique appliance? Which
The fryer.
appliance?
Repeat
There.
the question?
Dang, I was gonna say waffle fryer too.
The waffle fry maker. The,
Repeat the question?
Milkshake machine.
I was gonna say lemonade machine.
Their milkshakes never go down.
It took Chick-fil-A
it's-
11
it-
years
it-
to develop.
got to be
this
something to
unique-
do with their chicken. Probably either their chicken breader. No,
No.
No, they hand bread their chicken.
no, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I do. I did it. I did it in the back.
Don't slander our sponsor.
I will say I did. I do remember doing that for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
11
I did the
years.
spicy, and then I do the regular.
Did you work there?
I did. I worked in the back at first, and then I moved up to the front to the drive-through.
Yeah, I mean,
Which to note is the only one here that worked at fast food.
they take
And I
care of
make
their
fun of
employees.
everybody
That's-
else. Austin,
They take-
no. Austin. Meanwhile,
they
hold
take-
up.
they
How's
take care of their
McDonald's going?
employees, man.
No.
How's McDonald's going?
No.
You try to get away
No.
with it now
No.
and say that
No.
lie.
No. You're
I'm
the
the
one
only one.
lying here. No.
You're tired today because
No.
you were at work.
So
Busy day.
I'm gonna say something to do because they started out so fry
A
heavy.
unique appliance. I don't know if it's really unique.
I'm
but
gonna
it's an
say
appliance.
something for the grilled chicken
It's
'cause-
close. You're close. You're very
because
close.
they didn't really have that to start. So probably something like how they grill, or how they grill their chicken. So whether it's a grill or
Oh,
whether
ding,
it's
ding,
a-
ding, ding, ding! It's a grill. It took them 11
Yeah.
years to develop their grill.
Well,
Their grill
if you look at like Burger King,
Hmm.
their grill marks come from a machine, so
Yeah.
that's not really cooked on the grill.
Hey, they're good though.
Yeah, their hamburgers are good. So I'm saying like not to say anything negative. So like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you are in quick serve, you can't sit there and grill a piece of chicken to order. So what does that look like?
Hmm.
So that's why I was saying that.
In addition to taking more than a decade to develop the grill, Chick-fil-A invested 7 years of testing more than 1,200 recipes to find an unmatched backyard grilled taste for our grilled chicken. You can give the grilled chicken a try by ordering the egg white grill for breakfast or the grilled nuggets, grilled chicken sandwich, and grilled chicken
I still
club
never had their
sandwiches.
breakfast.
Make sure you get the spicy grilled deluxe.
The spicy grilled deluxe is good, and you can add on the little lime sauce too. Oof.
I did crush 30 nuggets,
It's not hard to do. I can do it. It's
not.
not
I
hard
love
to do.
it.
but I asked for a side of that lime sauce. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. And the honey
I did the
barbecue
chicken
too.
in it. Yep.
Yeah, the honey barbecue too. They have. I mean, they just killing the sauce game. It's so easy for them. But yeah, shout out to our friends over there on the West Tennessee Street. They're awesome. We're actually plan on doing some more giveaways with them too. And if you guys are in our Discord, we try to do a trivia Tuesday at least once a month. So we give away
So
free
that
meals.
means you owe me like 3. Yeah, so you can get that one to Austin.
Well, I'm gonna
Tuesday night.
I'll take us out to Chick-fil-A when we get down to Kenny Shaw's camp. How about that? We'll just go slide by.
I mean, I'm not going to be there, but all right.
Well, you need to get invested into this show, Austin, and you need to come down. And
I'm coming
learn
for the
our-
spring game. That's enough.
Yeah, I want you to drive like 20 hours in a matter of 2 weeks.
I'm good. Because if I go to the Final Four the weekend before, I'm definitely not. doing
Austin's
Kenny
dialed
Shaw's
in.
camp.
Austin thinks he's going to Final Four. Is it going to
might be.
happen this year? Is it going to happen? This just transitions us just beautifully into our next.
That's what we
discussion.
should do before we go into basketball. Austin should give us his bracket picks. Help these people
What
out
about
on the
mine?
last night.
What about
we don't-
mine?
You'll
What
be
about my
okay. Keep
bracket
those.
picks?
Keep 'em
I've
to
got my
yourself.
tournament. I've got my bracket right here. I can do it.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear yours, Austin.
I mean, do we want to go like what are we doing? Like Sweet 16s?
Yeah, yeah. Just give your Sweet 16 and on.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be really fun. Sweet 16 in the West. I have Gonzaga and Cinderella, Ohio,
Hey,
and then I have USC and Iowa in the West.
dude, I've got Gonzaga in Ohio too.
Yeah,
The-
I think USC matches up really well with Kansas. On that bottom part of the bracket. USC is one of those teams when they're playing well, they play really, really well. I think Evan Mobley is gonna be a big problem. And I just don't buy Kansas. And then Ohio, they play Virginia. Virginia doesn't get to Indianapolis until tomorrow, which by the time you guys are listening to it today. And then they play the next day, whereas Ohio's been there all week. And they got a player in Preston. Preston's a legitimate pro. I think he's going to tear apart Virginia.
Yeah, I have Gonzaga and USC as a final in that bracket.
I thought about it. I went Gonzaga and Iowa. I just think Iowa's offense is too much.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in March. It's hard to prepare for
Yeah.
Luke Garza on one day. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I did it that way because you know that not every bracket unfolds how that's going to unfold, and I think that Gonzaga, other than maybe Creighton or Ohio, otherwise, how does that bracket get shaken up?
well, I have Creighton losing round 1 to Santa Barbara.
I have Creighton winning one game.
Yeah, I just think Creighton just put up such a stinker in the Big East
Yeah.
title game. I mean, they
They
lost
did.
by 30 to Georgetown. What are you doing? I mean, maybe it was 40. I forget the final score. It was a lot to a little.
Yeah, they got smoked.
And I just think there's too much going on with that locker room with the whole McDermott thing. I just don't see them doing anything.
That's true.
yeah. Just going back to Ohio.
That's a
real
valid
quick,
point.
I think Jason Preston could be one of the stars of the tournament if they do start making a run. I mean, he had a game against Illinois early in the season.
They almost beat Illinois.
Yeah, they lost Illinois by 3, and Preston had 31 points, 8 assists, and six boards. So, I mean, he's a do-it-all type of guard, and I'm gonna be watching them for sure.
Well, speaking of, before we jump into UNC, Greensboro, and Florida State, some news came out today.
He didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
didn't
he-
do the rest
Oh,
of
it's
the
not
bracket.
done yet.
Yeah. No, we ain't done yet.
1/4 of the bracket. What are we doing?
Yeah, come on, man.
Oh,
Slow down,
1/4.
Logan.
Oh,
Like,
everybody
what the
get.
heck?
All right,
Come on, Logan, slow
I
down.
get time to go get my charger then.
In the South, I have Baylor, Winthrop, Arkansas, and Ohio State.
I've got 3 of those 4. I've got North Carolina in the Sweet 16.
Instead of Baylor.
Yep.
I could see it. Baylor doesn't shock me. Like,
They've been playing poorly too.
yeah, I love their
I
guards.
picked them though. I got Purdue versus Arkansas as a final.
I can't do Purdue. I just can't buy. I think Winthrop is so good.
Yeah, I had Winthrop beating Villanova, but losing.
Oh, that's
to
the
Purdue.
easiest lock at the tournament.
And I just since the point guard went out, right?
Winthrop +6 is the easiest lock of the tournament.
So
Dude, Winthrop money line is like plus 200. Get on that while you
That's
can.
what I'm saying. Like,
So I debated Winthrop and Purdue. I don't know. I just went with I think Purdue battle tested. Big Ten was probably the best
mhm.
conference this year. So
And it's essentially a home game for them because
yeah,
they're playing an hour away.
yeah, it was close. And I just think Arkansas is going to make a run.
Yeah, for me, the closest one was Texas Tech, Arkansas. I think Texas Tech's going to make a run. I think they're going to be really good.
And
But I ended up going Arkansas.
I picked Virginia Tech to beat Ohio State.
You mean? Oh, really? I see. I have Ohio State in the Final Four.
I don't know, man. They started the season so well, then they took a slip.
The thing with March is you've got to have good experienced guards.
Yeah.
You've got C.J. Walker and Dwayne Washington.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to be too much to handle in March.
I think Virginia Tech can get them fits athletically.
I think Virginia Tech sucks. So,
Yeah.
on to the Midwest. I'll save the East for last. This one I almost went complete shock, and I'm probably going to change it before tomorrow. But right now I've got Illinois, Oklahoma State, San Diego State, Houston.
I've got the exact
Yep.
same 4.
Yeah, me too. I got Illinois, Houston. I thought about going. I thought about going San Diego State.
Yep, I'm thinking about changing that. I have I have Illinois in my Final Four. I just think they're playing too well right now. If they get past that first part of that bracket, because that first weekend is insane. You play the winner of Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech. Loyola Chicago is top 10 in Gen Pom. Like that's a brutal second round game.
I think that's the toughest bracket.
Well, if you get to the Elite Eight, like whoever comes out of the bottom half of that bracket, whatever. Like
Yeah.
West Virginia as a 3 seed was a joke. Clemson as a 7 seed was a joke. Rutgers in the tournament was a joke. Houston as a 2 seed, I think they're exposable. I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't think they're among the elite of the elite.
Yeah, I mean, if Illinois, beats if Loyola Chicago does win, if Illinois beats them, and then they get to match up with Oklahoma State, beat them, I think they're going all the way to the
So
national
you
championship.
got Loyola Chicago beating Georgia Tech.
Yeah, with the news Moses Wright's out, absolutely. Moses Wright's their player out with COVID, so they don't stand a chance now.
Yeah, they're 10th in the net rankings, man. They're, but they're 128 strength of schedule and they're 0-1 against top 25. So
yeah, but I mean, you look at all the computer analytics. Like, where are they at in Gen Pom right now?
I went Georgia Tech because they're just on a streak right now.
If they had Moses Wright, like I was back and forth with it. If they had Moses Wright, absolutely. But without him, I just that loses your biggest advantage against a team like Loyola.
Yep, that's true. I'm gonna switch that one.
And then moving to the East, saving the best for last. This one's fun. I have Michigan, Florida State, and then I have Michigan State and Alabama. I have Texas losing round 1 to Abilene Christian. I like having 114 over 3 upset. And I bounce back and forth between them and then the West Virginia Morehead State game. But I went Abilene. First and forced turnover rate. They defend the 3 really well, and Texas is kind of loose with the ball, and they're pretty reliant on the 3. So I think it's an upset waiting to happen.
Okay.
You think Michigan State beats Abilene Christian?
Who knows with that game? I just couldn't bring myself to put a 14 seed in the Sweet 16.
I got LSU.
That's what I've got, dude.
I got LSU beating Michigan.
I thought about it. I really, really thought about it. When March comes out, I dig into podcast savvy, and I listen to so many different podcasts. And in my podcast research, I found out Michigan is just 6-7 the last 2 years without Isaiah Livers. And I don't think they're gonna have him alternate. If they don't lose to either LSU or St. Bonaventure, I think they fall to us in the Sweet 16.
So I got Florida State versus Bama in that bracket.
So do I. And then I have us in the Final Four just because I'm biased.
Yeah, me too.
Alabama's good, man. Alabama's so good.
And I think that Florida State plays at their top, man.
It's a good game.
Hard to beat, man.
Yeah, if Florida State plays to their potential, they run through this bracket easily.
I did think Colorado would be a tough game in round 2.
I do not. Colorado is a lie.
Joking. I'm joking.
Colorado is a lie. They trick the computers.
I have Georgetown beating Colorado.
I do as well. Colorado has 3 quadrant 3 losses, including a home loss to California, who was 8-20, and this was a month ago. It wasn't like us when we lost to UCF, or it was like our 4th game. It just happened. How is Colorado a 5 seed? I don't get it. Whatever.
But I don't understand some of the computers at like right at 2% BYU winning the whole thing.
I don't have BYU making out the first round.
I had them losing to Michigan State.
Yeah, I just think Michigan State's been playing pretty well this last stretch. Whereas BYU, every good team they played, they lost. It's like with Virginia.
I do think UConn could give Alabama fits in round.
I agree.
Round 2.
Bo Knight's a real dude.
Yep. I think Michigan. LSU. I think is super athletic. I think even for Florida State, that would be a tough game.
And LSU could score with the best of them. They have a really potent offense.
Yep. And I was going to have Oklahoma State in another bracket take a run because I think Caden Cunningham's really good. But I don't know, man.
I almost thought about that as well. I wish Oklahoma State was 3 in the Midwest instead of the 4 because I think Oklahoma State, Illinois, Elite 8 would have been fun.
Well,
so what you got in the Final Four? You got
so Final Four. I have Gonzaga over Florida State, and then I have Illinois over Ohio State, and then I have Illinois as my national champion.
That's what I have money
Illinois.
Yeah,
I have money.
I got Gonzaga over Illinois.
Yeah, me too.
I can't buy into Gonzaga. There's just something about it.
I got Gonzaga, FSU, Arkansas, Illinois.
I mean, it's completely understandable. I think that'll be a lot of people's Final Four.
And
I saw Seth Davis picked Arkansas to lose to Colgate in the first round.
If you lose to toothpaste, you
That would
deserve
be
to just
nuts.
demolish your program.
Oh man.
I don't know. I just think Gonzaga's that.
Oh, I
They're
think they're
just that team
they're
this year.
special. I think they're special. There's something about them when they get to the Final Four and they finally start playing teams that aren't scared of them. That I'm like, okay, maybe. The thing with their bracket is they've already beaten Virginia by 20. They've already beaten Iowa by 20. They've already beaten Kansas. Like they've already played these teams.
I think this year is different, kind of like Virginia when they lost in the first round and came back last year and just
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
made the run.
Gonzaga's amazing. I'm not saying that, but I just don't trust them in the tournament. I've yet to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just want to see Gonzaga and Florida State because I think that'd be a really good basketball game.
I don't. I do not want to play Gonzaga again.
Well, you picked them to.
Yeah, I know, but that just because I picked it doesn't mean I want to see it.
Why not? As a fan of college basketball, I think that'd be a fun game.
I'm a Florida State fan, first of all. I don't care. I hope we play Texas Southern in the Final Four.
Oh, that'd be great. I hope it's Florida State, Abilene Christian, a playing game, and Missouri Southern. That's who I hope it is. You know,
Missouri Southern.
Whoever, but
Yeah.
like.
Well, before we jump into UNC versus Greensboro, there was some news today. Leonard Hamilton was getting off the bus. I'm sure you probably know a little bit more on this, Austin, but
I actually don't.
Yeah, Austin was at work all day. There was a lot of
This
fries
was
to make.
something. This was something where Dustin texted me, or Dustin, our group chat, and said,
Yeah.
"Coach Ham ruptured his Achilles." I was like,
That,
"What?"
yeah, that was like such the weirdest thing. I was like, what's happening? But supposedly he was getting off the bus and ruptured his Achilles. He said everything's still on plan for him to be coaching there on the side of the court. What he'll probably be on a scooter, I'm guessing.
I hope we see a Ron Hunter moment. I'm sure everyone remembers that Georgia State game
When he
against-
fell off the scooter.
Yeah, in Jacksonville. I was at the
Celebrating.
game. Yeah, his son hit the game-winning 3 from 35 feet and falls off the stool. If we see a Coach Ham moment like that, oh my God,
Oh man, they gonna play for Ham? Playing for Ham?
they got to.
Got to play for Ham now, right?
They got to.
Yeah, hopefully nothing has changed it. I know some people were saying, is he going to be coaching? Absolutely. He'll be there.
Yeah, he's still coaching.
He'll be there on the side.
If a kidney stone won't keep him off the sideline, I think.
Yeah.
If you ever had a kidney stone, that's the worst pain in the history of life.
Oh,
Yeah,
my dad.
it's the worst.
It is the worst pain
I got it the Tuesday.
ever,
I got it
ever have.
I got it the Tuesday after the Virginia Tech game. You talk about a bad week. The
Oh,
good Taggart
man.
first Virginia Tech game. Talk about a bad week, man.
You should just knew it was coming.
Yeah,
That was not a good week for you.
I was in pain, man.
I had one in each kidney.
Oh.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I
God.
remember waking up at 6 a.m. with the worst back pain, and I'm like, man, this
Yep.
is weird. And then 10 minutes later, I'm in the hospital.
Damn.
Like it was bad, man.
It's laughing.
Jesus.
Oh man, but anyways, let's jump into this game preview to finish off the episode. It is now March Madness. I got it on over here on my other screen, so I'm loving it. I got some sports to watch almost every night and during the day. So it's finally here. Florida State is a number 4 seed. They'll be facing the number 13 seed UNC Greensboro Spartans. The game is going to be at 12:45 tip-off. Then this is going to be on True TV on Saturday, gentlemen. We've made it. Florida State, we talked a little bit about it earlier about Scotty Barnes and what we think where he should be playing at. But overall, Austin, heading into this game, your thoughts about it, because we'll probably do maybe an instant reaction afterwards. But let's jump into it. What are your thoughts? What are we thinking?
So after spending way too much time watching UNC Greensboro this week, because that's all I've done, they give me a Dennis Smith NC State or a Ja Morant Murray State vibe, where they just have this incredibly electric point guard. In this case, it's Isaiah Miller. And then the rest of the roster is just terrible. I mean, it's just not good. It's going to be interesting to see how Florida State plays Miller specifically. Are they going to play it like they did with Dennis Smith, where they just kept him from scoring? Because with NC State, when you took away his electricity, his energy, his athleticism, NC State was down with it. With Murray State, we took away his passing. because we saw what we did to Marquette when they tried to take away his scoring, and he just lit them up on assists. I think he had like 14 assists against Marquette. We took away his passing. He lit us up to start the game, but as the game progressed, he was out of the funk. You could tell. It'll be interesting to see how Florida State attacks Miller specifically. I think they're going to go the Dennis Smith route, try and take away his scoring, make him more of a playmaker, because when he's such an unbelievable athlete. I mean, he's 5'11", 6 foot, doing windmills. I mean, he's insane, unbelievably bouncy. Leads the team in points, assists. He's second in rebounds, first in steals. Just a tremendous player. He's going to be a tremendous challenge for Florida State in their guards.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's going to be a tremendous challenge, and that's where Florida State's size really is going to come into play. I mean, this is a shorter point guard. He might have Scotty Barnes on him at 6'9". If not, he's either going to have, I would say, Anthony Polite.
Yeah, I think he's going to see
is
a lot of
probably
Polite.
the best on-ball defender on the roster. Polite's 6'6", I want to say. And so Polite's on him, and then he's going into the guys inside, Raekwon Gray, who goes about 6'8", and then also Balsa, who's 7 foot, or even Malik, who's 6'9", 6'10". Maybe Ngom gets some minutes. So really, it comes down to Florida State using their size inside to stop him, because this isn't a guy who is going to take a lot of shots from the outside. That's going to be more on the other guys. Their guards, Keyshawn Langley and Caleb Hunter, who don't shoot very good percentage-wise from the outside. So, in my opinion, Florida State they've got to limit Miller and then hope that the other guys on the roster don't randomly heat up and continue to shoot around their season average that they were shooting coming into this game. And I think that FSU could win handily. And I mean, you're gonna have to cut down on the turnovers. Obviously, we talked about that last week. Florida State turned it over 14 or more times, and each of their last 5 games had 25 turnovers their last outing. And this is a team that will make them pay. I think we brought up last weekend as well. UNC Greensboro scores 15.9 points per game off of turnovers. So if Florida State does continue that trend, it could be close. But if they limit their turnovers, stop Isaiah Miller, I feel really confident that this one could be over early.
Yeah, they're 60th in forced turnover rate, to back up what Dustin's saying. That's what they pride themselves on, is they really attack the ball. They try and get steals, try and get these live ball situations. If Florida State's going to turn it over, it has to be dead ball turnovers where the ball's going out of bounds. It's shot clock violation, something like that. You can't have Isaiah Miller dictate the game with his steals and his electrifying finishes on the other end. The other thing you have to watch out for is they're a really, really good offensive rebounding team. I think there's something like, I got to pull up my stats again. They're 19th nationally in offensive rebounds per game and 60th in offensive rebound rate. Florida State's been pretty bad on the defensive glass this year. They allow 31.9% offensive rebounding rate, which is like bottom 50. Florida State's guards are going to have to focus, and especially on one guy in particular, Muhammad Abdul Salam. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He averages 3 offensive boards a game. Got to get a body on him. If you can keep them from getting second chance points, keep them from getting transition points, I think Florida State will win by 20-25.
Still surprised that they beat Carolina, giving up 21 offensive boards and 18 turnovers. So this team has shown they can be a decent opponent while just playing really subpar basketball.
And to Dustin's point about Miller not shooting, he's only taken 47 threes all year. It's not like you're playing a Steph Curry or a Jimmy.
And he shoots 21%.
Yeah, they've got 2 guys shooting 33% from 3. No one better than that. And as a team, they shoot about 30% from 3. They've got 3 guys where the majority of their shots do come from 3, but they just don't hit. As long as some of these guys don't randomly heat up and hit 6 or 7 threes, you contain yourself on the glass and you contain Miller. It should be a good game for FSU. It's a good tune-up game.
I'm going to say this line right now is at -11 Florida State. Does that seem kind of accurate to you guys?
I mean, it's March. Anything can happen. It wouldn't surprise me if it's closer than it's supposed to be, just because it's you're trying to get up for UNC Greensboro at 12:45, playing in nowhere, Indiana. Like no, like come
Yeah.
on, man. But if Florida State plays to the potential, it should be a 20, 25-point win.
I was thinking like 78-55 type game.
Yeah, I'll have it in my. Hopefully, by the time this podcast is out, my preview article is out. I'm trying to make it to where I have the article up 24 hours before the game.
I just don't think they shoot well enough, like you said.
Yeah,
It's a concern this guy can get to the basket, and Florida State can get into foul trouble, and they can rebound, like you said. But I think this is just a mismatch.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And playing Barnes more, defensively, I think that he can create more havoc on defense. So I think that I think they'll be able to shut this team down. I think it's a game that Florida State could coast.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Florida State, they've frankly they haven't looked like the same team that they were in January and early February. They've just been out of rhythm the last couple of games,
Mhm.
whatever it is, out of sync. And moving into this first game, they might be able to get everything clicking again against UNC Greensboro. We'll see how they come out. If they come out with that focus, I mean, there's potentially 6 games left in their season, maybe 1 game left. We'll see if they have that mindset on Saturday.
Luckily, gym familiarity shouldn't be an issue. They've been in Indianapolis since Sunday. They flew there straight from Greensboro. They have not been back to Tallahassee. So they've been in Indianapolis. They've been able to
I like
be in the
that.
gym for a week. I think that's going to help this team a lot that relies on good shooting.
I was going to ask.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask real quick because we discussed it on the roundtable with Tribaholics, but the biggest thing for me, in my opinion, is who's going to be the leader. MJ Walker's had not the best last couple of games. This month has been not so well on his end. And it seems like this team, it just kind of is like letting teams do whatever they want to them right now, or they, at least not all teams, but definitely in this last game, Florida State had all the potential to take that ACC tournament and get the championship. Who's going to be the leader that steps up? Is it going to be the young guy? Is it going to be Scotty Barnes with his plays? Definitely, if he does get the good nod to be a starter, is it going to be him that brings that energy? It just seems like Florida State has lacked that ever since we saw a hot team whenever they were unranked. They had the chip on their shoulder. And that's what we were saying. That's a Final Four team. But right now, going back to the last couple of weeks, they haven't really looked that way. Who's going to be the leader?
Honestly, I really think it comes down to MJ. And, I don't know if I would have said that earlier on, but I mean, to me, it kind of feels like as he goes, this team is kind of went. He was looking good earlier this season. The team was looking good. He's looked flat the last couple of games, and Florida State hasn't looked nearly as good as they were a couple of weeks ago. I really think he's got to get back into his groove. And, I also said earlier, I think Raekwon Gray, he's come a long way over the last couple of months, and I think he's got to take it up another notch in the tournament. Same with Balsa. I mean, as long as that hand is okay, I think Balsa is in line for a good couple of games.
When I think of leaders, I think of vocal guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the Terrence Manns. I think of
Trent.
Guys like that. Trent was more of a guy that led by example, but he learned by last year, hey, I got to lead with my voice. And you saw how well Florida State was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think a guy like Malik Osborne fits that perfectly. Super vocal. And he's been in that locker room enough that he's gained the guys' trust. It's not like with Scotty, or this is his first season. And yeah, he's been there a year and the guys are close. But Malik has that respect. It's his 3rd season in the program. He's been there, done that. I think he's going to be the guy. I think he's going to be a guy that they lean on as far as leadership.
I would be totally fine with a couple of Malik screams.
Yeah,
Be that shit.
What do you think, real quick, Austin, Florida State's got to do to get back to that we haven't talked about already?
Man, they gotta take, not even take smart shots. They have to be smart. And that comes from not turning the ball over. That comes from getting your boards. But we saw too often in the Georgia Tech game where they just get the ball and they think. You can't think in March. You just have to play. You have to react quickly, make smart decisions. And we saw it too many times where they would just get in a funk, get in a double team, get in a triple team, and turn the ball over. This team has to move in sync, move with smart passes, cut off the ball. Needs to be no more standing around. They just got to play smart basketball, and they'll be fine. No more of this MJ dribbling into triple teams and trying to throw up a layup. Just play smart. They'll be fine.
You think they kind of bought into some of the recognition?
I mean, it's hard not to.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I
Without
think
that leader, to be like, hey, to check them.
Yeah, I think they did a little bit, and that's what Trent Forrest was so great at last year. He kept guys grounded.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see how they come out on Saturday. If they come out flat on Saturday, then we're going to be a little bit worried. But if they come out guns blazing, this is going to be a dangerous team in March. They've got the length, they've got the athleticism, they've got the offense, certainly.
Yeah.
Especially, we haven't even talked about the defense.
Mm-hmm.
This entire podcast. In the past, Florida State teams were built on Hamilton's defenses, and the defense just been average this year. I won't say average. They were above average, but they weren't elite like we're used to. If they can tap into that like we saw against Virginia, like against Louisville, against Florida, then, they'll go deep. If they continue to let these smaller guards beat them and they get beat off ball on back cuts, then it might be an early exit, but we'll see.
Where are we watching the games at?
My bed.
I'm going to be watching it. I don't know where I'm going to be watching it, to be honest.
It's Saturday late, right?
No, it's Saturday at
12:45.
Yeah.
I'll be at work.
Be at work. That won't be a bad place for it.
No, I can't watch Florida State sports at work.
Too many loud.
I can't watch Florida State sports at work.
F-bombs, and I
Yes.
pissed off, punch a beer out of someone's hand.
Hopefully you won't be too mad this game.
No, I can't do it. So
Dustin's hand probably still hurts from hitting it after the ACC title championship. I'm pretty sure you probably sprained it.
Nah, I just cut my wrist.
Whoa.
But no, I'm feeling good. I cut my finger last night after the Celtics lost on St. Patty's Day, so the pain is.
I think we've got to talk about this.
Yeah, this is a little kind of alarming. Sports shouldn't be really doing this to you.
no, they should.
Tell them to win.
Tell them to win.
Tell them to win.
You went through the Willie Taggart era, and you went through last season.
No.
Yeah, you should have seen my wrist then.
Like,
I'm surprised you're still.
Good
Never
Lord.
mind.
Good Lord.
like I wish I had a picture of the remote when they did not recover that fumble against Boise State. That thing shattered.
Really, I don't care who we lose to. It just cannot be UNC Greensboro. I know too many people that went there now that I live up here. I can't.
I want them to beat Michigan because
I do too. I want payback for 2018.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
man, 2018 was a fun year. That was a really fun tournament. I mean, we haven't really talked about March Madness stories because I got a lot of March Madness stories. Just from that Xavier game, we were so excited. People were beating up the medical table. And then we get to LA and we should have beaten Michigan. Mo Wagner was terrible. Garrison Matthews was contained. Duncan Robinson was contained. We just couldn't hit shots down the stretch. And had we gotten that jump ball in front of our bench with a minute left, down 2, we would have won that game, but instead they called a foul. And it sucks. We should have been to the Final Four playing Loyola Chicago to go to the national championship. But instead, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of tears in that locker room. And there's still a decent amount of players still on this team that were there. They want that payback against Michigan.
I like that. Get some energy. Anything to get this team fired up. It's a scary sight. If they're clicking on all cylinders, we'll see, though, on Saturday. Score predictions time. I know, Austin, it'll be in your preview, so it'll be me, D-Lou, and Nate.
78-55.
78-55. Didn't even give me a chance to tweet out the topic. Dates got it right off the bat. 78-55. Did it just come to your head? Is that just easy? That just what
I already said it. I already said it. I think that's
Earlier.
what I'm feeling.
78.
I think that they just come out. I think they play a little bit smarter. Don't turn the ball over. I think that they don't shoot well enough. Even Florida State's been a little bit of punished by teams that have great shooting against Florida State. I just don't think that this team is good enough to even necessarily be a threat from 3. So I think that's just a major difference. I think that Scotty Barnes playing more brings a little bit more to this team energy wise and just playmaking wise on defense. So I just feel Florida State comes out and pulls away early second half, and they coast.
I think this is going to be a little bit more defensive oriented just because of how good both of these teams are on that side of the court. So I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring than Nate, but I'm still thinking in the 70s, Florida State 72, and I'll go UNC Greensboro 59.
Okay. Yeah, to me, it's really about the leadership and the energy that they're going to be bringing. If Florida State has a leader that are vocal, like you guys were saying, definitely if it's Osborne, someone that's been there for a while, if it's even Scotty Barnes, I'm not going to be shocked if he brings that kind of energy. I mean, that just fuels this team even more. So I think Florida State gets out of this one. I think Florida State wins 70-62. A little bit closer.
I have mine a lot more higher scoring than all of y'all.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Let's see.
On both sides?
Yeah, on both sides.
I'm also
Because
interested.
I think it's gonna be one of those games where Florida State pulls away early and then they just coast and they allow this team to get a whole bunch of late buckets. I think it's gonna be one of those kind of games.
So we're thinking like 85-65, something like that.
You're pretty close to my number. Like you missed it by 3 numbers.
Ned's gonna be guessing it all night now.
90-70.
He can read the article tomorrow.
There you go. Exactly. Florida State's gonna be facing UNC Greensboro, the 13th seed. They went 21-8 this season. They'll be facing them at 12:45 at the Bakers Life Field House in Indianapolis. It'll be televised on True TV. We will have full coverage on Twitter and other platforms. We definitely appreciate a lot of you guys being in our Discord and joining Patreon. We talked a lot about spring practice, but we got a lot of coverage. This is a kind of busy next month for us. So you guys jump in that Discord, join as a Patreon, take advantage of the opportunities and benefits there. And only $2.99 a month. If you're contemplating joining another site or somewhere else, that's probably triple the amount of that you'll be paying in here because it's only $2.99. That's like what could you like $2.99? Just don't buy a Coke or something once a month. Save yourself. But yeah, join our Patreon at patreon.com/NoelGameDay. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We definitely appreciate it. We love you guys for listening. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's week. Enjoy the game on Saturday. We'll be talking to you guys during our live instant reaction to Florida State versus UNC Greensboro. Peace.